and make sure that that's kosher.
Okay, let's address the sushi. First of all, it's beautiful to be here, and Chazak u'Baruch for the very chashuv rabbi. And let's start with sushi. If you want to go to a non-kosher sushi restaurant, what should be the problem? It's only rice and fish. What's wrong with fish? It doesn't have to have a shchita like an animal. Or if you're not eating fish, you're eating avocado, you're eating something else, cucumbers. What's wrong with that? What could be the problems? So let's list the amount of problems that you have in sushi. And by understanding the problems you find in sushi, you can relate that to so many other places that have similar problems. So you get an understanding how important it is to have kashrut. Let's start with...
If you can't be mature, then leave.
I'm sorry.
There's nothing funny going on here. They're educating you.
It's not something. It's something in my head. Sorry.
Okay, so stop.
Let's start with the rice. Rice has multiple problems when it's being cooked by a non-kosher establishment. First of all, the pot itself is not kosher because they made with that non-kosher food. So now they're cooking rice for you in that pot. Let's say it doesn't have... I'm sorry?
What if they cook their rice in a rice cooker?
Oh, so rice cooker. So you don't have that problem. So what other problems do you have? You have what we call bishul akum. You're not allowed to have a goy cooking for you rice. That's asur. So you go into a non-kosher establishment. No, a Jew is not cooking that rice. Chazal restricted us from eating anything.
What if he cooks it but doesn't light the fire?
I'm sorry?
That's getting to a different type of B'shui Israel. I'm talking about B'shui
We're talking about everything. Sfaradi, Ashkenazi. Sfaradi more strict. Even if you want to be lenient like the Ashkenazim. But Ashkenazim means that a Jew had to turn on the fire. You have to put the rice cooker on or turn on the rice cooker. You don't have that when you go to a Chinese sushi place. That's it. Secondly, you have a problem with the oil that they put. Rice doesn't cook by itself. You put oil in it. The oil needs a hechsher. You can have raw oil come from lard, from many different things that are not kosher. So that is the rice. Now, when you have, let's say, you're eating fish. Fish have to have somebody Jewish viewing the fish that it has scales before they fillet it, before they scale it. You need to see that the scales on it. Otherwise, you're violating isur of eating non-kosher fish. Yes.
Every salmon or every tuna has scales.
True. So now the question is, with what you're having in front, let's say you ordered a salmon. Is that really salmon? That's what's in your sushi. They told you it is, but you don't know. You're not sure. Why? Because you should know salmon doesn't grow in the color that you see it coming to your table. They add, this color is artificial. They put that color in the water in order for the salmon to look the way it looks.
Usually pink, right?
Right, but it doesn't grow like that. If it grows in the sea, it grows naturally without that coloring.
What color is it with?
Regular color, white. So let's just finish the salmon 1 second. So now you also have, they cut it, they fillet it. What knives did they use to cut? They didn't cut only the salmon. They also cut beforehand the crabs and well, whatever they have in the Chinese place. I mean, they have over there everything under the sun. They also cutting their cockroaches and snake and whatever you want. Go to Chinatown and they'll see. So now they took that very knife afterwards, and the most they did, let's say they're very clean, they wiped it, but still it has the residue of the crabs, of the shrimps or whatever it is, and now they're cutting your salmon because you ordered the salmon sushi, and you're eating that. That's another problem in it. Now, if you're eating it, let's say not raw, but rather cooked, so now you have definitely a problem with the pot, because that's not anymore a rice cooker. That's a pot that they cook other things as well that are not kosher, that they just use to cook the shrimps. Secondly, they put over there, like again, ingredients, oil, whatever it is that's not kosher. Thirdly, it's bishul akum, another problem. So you have various problems that go into that fish. Yeah.
Don't they cook the salmon sometimes with like like a torch. You cook it sometimes with a torch.
It could be. But if they do, I mean, there's various ways how to do things. So let's say you take away one problem, you have a second problem. You always end up with a lot of issues, a lot of problems when you're buying something that's not kosher. Yes.
But it's not the food necessarily.
His whole point was that his friend's dad owns or mom owns whatever, but they just don't have a hospital. But they serve non-kosher. But they said the regular sushi is the kosher.
They serve non-kosher.
They serve shrimp.
So what do you want?
But they have like a kosher omakase thing.
They have a what?
Yeah, they have a kosher.
They have like a kosher style where the chef makes like a kosher.
Look, this person is violating Isur. You're not allowed to sell non-kosher food. You're not allowed to open a restaurant selling non-kosher food. That's a Isur. Some hold it's a Isur deoraita. So this salesperson is violating a Isur. You're going to trust him to tell you that while he's violating this Isur, that what he has on the other side of the shelf is kosher. Who's there?
You see the chef?
Who's there? Very good. So who's the chef? He's a Chinese guy or a Puerto Rican or is what? He's not the rabbi from Shaare Zion that's doing it. So how do you trust a person behind the counter that could care less what ends up in your plate? And there's no hashgacha in the plate, so there's no if he makes a mistake deliberately or not deliberately, there's no ramifications at all. Nothing happens to him. Could care less. Yes.
Now what about an avocado one?
So avocado has the following problems. Again, you always can take out one problem. You end up with other problems.
What if you give them even a knife to use? Is it still not kosher?
Okay, so when you give them a knife, you came. First of all, you can't just use knives. It's a sushi place. They're very, very particular about their knives. The knives by sushi is something it's very expensive knives. But whatever it is, let's say you came with your own knife. You told them, do me a favor, you cut for me the vegetables and whatever it is. Okay, but on what cutting board is he cutting? Bring your own cutting board. Amazing. So you bring your own rice from home. Bring your own sushi. Bring your own avocado from home. Bring your knife.
You bring your rice.
You have no problem. If you bring your cutting board, if you bring your knife, if you bring your rice, and you just tell him to open fresh avocado and cut it for you, and while you're watching, go ahead, do that. By the way, for the same price, come to me. I'll charge you half price. Yeah. You brought the rice. You brought the knife, the cutting board. All you need from him is avocado. So you just need him to cut it for you.
So it's kosher.
Necessarily, the food is kosher itself.
Yes.
It's just the guy cooking it.
It's just the guy cooking it, the ingredients,
So that's my whole
the pot, the ingredients.
When you ask for kosher style, they use a new knife.
Exactly, kosher style. They use
They use a knife that's only meant for kosher style.
Yes, that is true. But who do you trust that is going to do that?
Why
You
does
trust?
there have to
No,
be
that's
trust
the
in
whole
this?
thing.
I'll explain to you.
That's the whole point of the
How does
thing.
there have to be trust in this?
I'll explain to
No,
you.
And also, you're looking at them cut it too.
I'll
That's
explain
the
to you.
meaning of kosher style.
Well, Moshe Feinstein, you know Moshe Feinstein, right? He
Yeah.
was the biggest posek in America. And he said that when you have an establishment that sells kosher and not kosher, you're not allowed to buy from there. Unless the kosher food is wrapped with a rabbi signature and it's sealed with the rabbi's hashgacha on it. But otherwise, if it's open, you're not allowed to buy it. So why is it that he's not allowed to buy it? Because when you go to such a place, if you ever worked or you ever saw what happened in a kitchen, I worked many times in a kitchen as a mashgiach. It's like chaotic over there. It's chaos. It's people running, people bringing, people taking. They're trying to make it on time for their meals. If it's a restaurant, trying to serve the customers. They're not there to make sure that your food is kosher. If they can grab this knife that's closer to them, or they can put that ingredients, they're not going to go and make sure that what they're giving you is 100% kosher. That's one problem. So even if you have in one side of the kitchen everything kosher, you have kosher oil, kosher salt, kosher rice, everything kosher. If you don't have a mashgiach stand, even with a mashgiach, that's not permitted. When you have such a thing that's open, and you have in one place kosher and the other place not kosher, as I explained to you, that was the psak of Moshe. Nobody argues with that. But even if you have a mashgiach, and it's messy that mistakes happen right and left. But if you don't have a mashgiach, for sure you can't eat in such a place.
But what we're saying is when we go to these sushi restaurants, the guy is always right in front of our face, not even rushing, just sitting there, taking the fish from right here, cutting, taking his time.
No problem. So
serving
if you
one by
bring
one.
your own, so I said,
It's
if you
some
bring
guy.
your own fish, and you bring your
It's
own
their
knife.
fish. The fish is
No,
necessarily
because
kosher.
again, the fish is already fillet. You don't see that it had scales. The knife that he's using, he used a minute ago for shrimps.
You see that it
If
has
it's kosher style, he does it in front of you.
100%. But the fish is fillet. You don't. It doesn't bring the. It's not a whole fish.
How about if you don't get fish?
The knife. What are you getting?
Yeah, actually,
Okay, so what's in California roll? I'm sorry for the ignorance.
You're such an idiot.
Let me take crab fish, yeah. Okay, how about if you get a cucumber avocado?
Cucumber and avocado. Cucumber and avocado is. We're not even dealing with bugs. Bugs is on things that have bugs, but avocado and cucumbers don't. So now you have to have. So you bring your own kosher rice,
No, you don't
right?
bring anything.
You don't bring anything.
Is there
So you
bugs in
go.
the fish?
So you go. So how do you know the rice is kosher? Let's start one thing at a time.
Because
How do you know
What
it
can
was?
be non-kosher
Wayne.
about the rice?
Who? How do you know it's bishul Israel? How do you know
oil,
it's
Wayne's here. What can be non-kosher about the rice?
bishul akum? Oil, the pot,
What oil do they
They're
use?
not using
lard.
They're not using. They're not. How do you know?
You want to know that you want to know the various oils in the market? Go to a supermarket
What
here.
oil do they
To
use?
the oil, you could use any oil. Many oils are made out of animals.
They use rice vinegar.
Yeah.
Rice vinegar doesn't need
Rice
hechsher.
vinegar.
Okay. You need to have hechsher for all these things.
The rice
You need to have
vinegar.
hechsher for all these things.
The whole point of this whole thing, the only thing it leads up to, is they need a hashgacha. That's it. At the
That's
end of the
it.
day.
So let me ask you a question. What's the difference between going to a kosher in Brooklyn? You live in Brooklyn. You don't live in Iowa. You don't live in Tokyo. You live in Brooklyn. There's more kosher stores here than non-kosher.
But the
Why do
quality
so you're
is very
paying?
different. The quality is very different. You're paying.
If you're only
and it
eating
tastes better.
sushi, you're only eating kosher. You're not gonna know that there's a different quality.
How about this? How about this?
You're never gonna know that. You'll be okay.
Let's say a regular avocado at a sushi spot's gonna be like what? $6, let's say. Now, at a
So
kosher
that's what
spot-
it is. $2 more. That's what hurts you. That's what.
$6 for a sushi roll at Caskey's, bro.
That's
I don't want to go to
Yeah,
the $2 extra. That's what's gonna break you.
Cook rice and put avocado on it. You gotta go.
I know what I'm saying. I'm saying realistically, your prices at a non-kosher sushi spot and
Of course, because you have to have. Of course, because you have to have a mashgiach over there. You have to have a hashgacha. You have to have kosher ingredients. Everything you buy.
I'm making my own sushi at home.
Everything that you're buying with a hechsher has a mashgiach on top of it. You're paying his salary. For sure.
I'm getting like a sushi.
Hey.
More like the.
Here's a question.
Yes.
Would you ask it?
What's the problem with the rice vinegar?
It's not kosher.
Vinegar could come from things that are not kosher.
Like what?
Well, it's not vinegar. It's rice
It's
vinegar.
vinegar.
So look into it and say there's so many things. There's so ingredients. Any ingredient that you're buying has to have a hechsher. You can't just buy
I don't know,
because
he
there's
says-
so many different things that go into an ingredient that needs to have a hechsher.
He says
So
he trusts
when-
the guy, Jay Frosty.
Okay, so you trust the Chinese guy behind the
No,
counter.
not Chinese guy.
So who do you trust?
Jay Frosty.
I don't know Chase Forston.
I thought he's like, it's
My
Jewish
friend,
kid.
my friend.
He doesn't sushi.
that owns the store.
Yeah.
80% of this community eats
I eat there too.
But
80% of the community is there.
that's very beautiful. You can have 120% of the community eating there. But if he's selling non-kosher food, you trust him on kashrut when he himself is violating selling non-kosher. You're not allowed to sell non-kosher. What else does he do? Does he open on Shabbat?
No.
Yeah, he does.
No.
Yeah,
Yeah, he does.
No, actually doesn't because they open at 5 p.m.
Yeah, they open at 5 p.m. So
Hey, how about in the summer?
No, he's driving.
Next question. You have more questions about
Only the
kashrut
summer.
or only
Only the
sushi bothers you?
Okay. What about dairy? Why is it so important that what could go wrong in a dairy restaurant?
Pasta.
Pizza.
Okay, so you go into a pizza store. So again, we're
No
talking about
pepperoni in there, no meat.
no pepperoni.
No fish.
Nothing.
How about pizza on a cruise?
Very good.
Nah, there's
On a
always
cruise?
meat in the dairy restaurants. They always cook meat.
No. I went.
It's the cheese
So
they
let's
had.
see.
They
On
have
the cruise I
the.
went on, they have
So
only.
let's see. Cheese itself must have hashgacha. Must have hashgacha. Even though milk. First of all, milk. We're dealing with milk, regular milk, without cheese. Milk needs to be Halav Israel. If you're lenient with Halav Israel, so you ask why. Let's say you're lenient with Halav Israel. You buy not Halav Israel. Okay, I don't have a problem with you because there's some that are okay with it. Okay, but cheese, lekuli alma, everybody agrees that you have to have. That's the Rama brings down that cheese definitely needs to be Halav Israel. Needs to have some.
But in
Cheese
America,
made of milk.
in America, it's illegal for it to not be a cow.
It doesn't make a difference. That's good for milk, not for cheese. For cheese, the Rama was posek that you have to have. So, one minute. Now, cheeses
How about like a Chinese?
cheeses that you put on a pizza, okay? You put the cheese on the pizza and you put it into the oven. What could be wrong? So the oven itself, they use to cook also pepperoni and many other things that go into the same oven. They use the knives to cut the let's say it's I'm not sure what they're cutting, what they're preparing, but all the utensils they're using the same utensils for kosher and not kosher. Okay, so you buying a pizza like that, you don't know what other ingredients they put in the dough. Making the dough also, you have to put oil in the dough. What type of oil did they put in the dough in order for it to be the way it is? It's not water. It's not.
Olive oil.
So if they used olive oil, if you know they used olive oil, 100% olive oil, extra virgin olive oil. Okay. You ask them. So do you trust the Italian that's cooking the pizza?
I do.
According to halakha, you do. But we asking what Hashem tells us to do. So you trust him, but the halakha says.
I only kosher.
One minute. The halakha says
You see the guy do
that
right.
the halakha says that the halakha says that you only trust a Jew that keeps Torah and mitzvot, and if he's not so, you can't trust him.
People that make homemade cheese, they put the curd, they do everything. They
Yes.
they do everything themselves. All it is comes from the cheese curd. Does that have to have a shirt on it?
Yes, cheese has to have a hechsher on it, and so does the dough, and so does an establishment, because all the other reasons that I mentioned to you right now. Any other questions? Bechavod.
I have a question.
Yes.
Why would the guy lie to you? You're not gonna ask him olive oil. What oil do you use? And if he says olive oil, can I eat it?
It's not about being lying to you, not lying to you. There's a concept called halakha. The Shulchan Aruch brings down that we only trust people that are Jewish and shomer Torah mitzvot, which means if he's Jewish, but he opens a sushi store that's not kosher and it's open on Shabbat, he's not shomer Torah mitzvot. We love him very much. We'll hug him. We'll give him an aliyah maybe in shul. I don't know, but not eat his food that he cooks for us. That's what it is. And there's a reason behind it, because if he's not careful doing other things, he's not going to be careful about your food as well. I mean, it's not
Him
it.
if it's olive oil, you're just you're saying I'm allergic to a certain oil. I want to see. So you ask him which oil. He tells you olive oil.
Right. So that's a good comment. You come with I'm allergic. They're afraid they're going to give you the wrong thing. That let's say you can get around it. I mean, in halakha, there's no such thing that you come around and tell him I'm allergic. That's gonna. But let's say you can pull out such a leniency. Again, even if you solve one problem, you still end up with many other problems. It's not like you solved all problems with your question. So you have over your olive oil, but how do you know they put over there? They put a lot of other things in the pizza as well. It's not today. Food is not like it used to be 40 years ago. 40 years ago, you wanted to buy bread or pita, it would be made out of dough, salt, yeast, and water. That's it. So you could have went to any baker and buy regular dough and buy regular pita or bread. Today, if you go to a baker, go to a supermarket and take a look at the ingredients of any bread, It just doesn't end.
Yeah.
Doesn't end. It's
What about spicy corn from a sushi place?
spicy corn.
Same thing.
Educate me. I don't know what's spicy. I know what's spicy and I know what's corn. What's spicy corn together?
Corn with chili on it.
So you buy corn on a cob.
No.
So corn on a cob, you should know. You should never eat it the way it is, because corns on the cob are infested. There's usually bugs inside it. That's not what I said. All the poskim said that way. All the poskim. I have a list of poskim that said it that way. And I myself checked corns, and on about every third corn, I found a bug inside, a worm, whatever it is. They go inside, and they didn't find a way yet to clean the corn, to make a corn clean from bugs.
What if you just boil it?
Rabbi Church.
So you didn't get that bug, a cooked bug. So the only way to eat,
Why does salads have to do with that?
Also strawberry.
because again you have the knives. You just walk into a place. It's dangerous to walk into a place that you have so many things that could happen wrong in a place that is not kosher. And they don't have any responsibility not to do anything that they want, because there's nobody watching over there.
But it's the health of the place, the cleanliness.
Yeah.
You know, bug in your food, it's nasty.
So again, we're not talking about, what are you talking about? Corns?
Yeah, anything.
Even strawberries, you can find the bug in. Right. So you're asking that why do establishments sell strawberries if it's infested?
I'm saying non-kosher place should also be watching their
Yes,
food
so make a complaint to the health department. You're right. Make a complaint to the health department. They hold that those bugs are very healthy. They're very nutritious.
I think that
They have proteins.
Have you ever ate a cricket?
I try not to. I try to stick on cockroaches. But
No,
why?
crickets are kosher, huh?
That's what. No, they're not.
Some of them
You can't tell which are which though.
Is there even any meat on it?
Not
no,
crickets.
it's crunchiness. I heard they put it in chocolate. That's disgusting.
You're talking about grasshoppers.
Oh,
Grasshoppers, my bad. Grasshoppers.
those are kosher, right?
Listen, this is beautiful. We have to make this more often, Rabbi. Next time we'll talk about football or elections or.
Once a week.
Rabbi, whenever you're ready.
Every day.
Okay, very good. It was
Anybody have
beautiful.
any more questions?
Any more questions? Bechavod.
Does anybody have clarity on Starbucks? What's wrong with
Starbucks.
Crumble cookie?
Oh yeah, if I buy an
Buying
airport,
coffee-
am I allowed to get like a bagel, cream cheese,
From.
Starbucks? You put the cream cheese
So again,
yourself, though.
the bagel we just said could have many ingredients that are not kosher.
No. You put it in yourself. They literally.
So you buy your own bagel and you buy your own cream cheese.
No,
they give it to you.
They give it to you, but the bagel itself has a hechsher. Oh, it has a hoyu.
On the cream cheese.
What about the bagel?
I don't know. Just give me a bagel.
Why would they put an OU on the cream cheese?
So eat the cream cheese without the
What's
bagel.
wrong with
They
Starbucks
can't
coffee?
use the bagel.
What?
What's the difference between Starbucks?
So, Starbucks coffee? Starbucks coffee. Starbucks coffee. There's nothing wrong with Starbucks coffee. You can go to Starbucks and buy plain black coffee. The only problem, potential problem, is that places like Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts and so on, they're not selling only coffee. They're also cooking at the spot, at the place, at the premises. They're cooking also food that is not kosher. And then, when they clean their utensils at the end of the day, they put everything together into the dishwasher, and you have over there cooking dirty food, dirty pots and pans and utensils with all kind of non-kosher food, together with the filter of the coffee. That is the problem. It becomes problematic with the filter. Now, there are ways to permit this in halacha, because it's pagum, the soap over there that makes the taste that go into the filter bad tasting, and also there's other leniencies as well that we're not going to go into right now. But lemaise, Rav Heinemann from the Star K in Baltimore said that you could rely on those leniencies when you're out of town. But if you have 2 minutes away from you kosher coffee, you should not rely on those leniencies. Those leniencies are good for the b'diavad, for a person that's holech derachim. There are leniencies like this, many leniencies for people that are traveling, they're on the road, they're away in the town that doesn't have. I wrote about this extensively I have a new sefer about going to trips and going to hotels. So I write about this, and I bring this very idea from Rabbi Heinemann that it is permitted to drink Starbucks, but when you're on the road, when you're not on the road, I understand Starbucks is a little bit better than the coffee that they sell by the kosher store around, but it's worth not getting the best experience and eating something that's 100% kosher.
You're saying even plain black coffee is a problem in Starbucks. You should better not to.
Better not to, unless you're on the road, right?
The same spout that comes out other things.
Not because of the spout, because of the spout. There's another discussion about the spout. I don't know how exactly they do it in Starbucks. We can speak about the spout separately, but the filters, because again they put the filters, they put all these things that are detachable, they put it together into the dishwasher to wash together with the non-kosher food. Chazak v'baruch.